Hey everyone, it's Flying Kraken here, and I'm back with another Hearthstone Voyage to the Sunken City video. And today we're going to be talking about the new keywords that are coming up in the brand new set. First, we're going to talk about my favorite word of the new set, which is Colossal. New word Colossal. Minions with the Colossal keyword come with extra appendages that synergize with the main body in powerful ways. These appendages are summoned with the main body even if Colossal wasn't played from hand. That means if it was randomly summoned from the deck, if it's randomly generated from a card like Cenarian Ward, or any other card that randomly generates minions on the board, they'll also get the appendages. I think this is an awesome new keyword. I love it. I think it's a great way to go about big minions without having the minion just be massively big on its own. You could have this thing be a 7 mana, 6/13 with a slightly different effect and be like, oh, this was a colossal minion. They could make it just a giant minion. They didn't do that. Having two body parts not only divides the power up into two body parts while also allowing them to synergize with each other. For cool tricks, but it means that the player has to play around board space because not all colossal minions are colossal +1 like Kolak here. The Demon Hunter one is like 3 or 4, I believe. It's a lot, and there are multiple in this set. They're probably gonna have more than one. So far, we're getting every class is getting one colossal minion, with the neutrals probably having at least 1 or 2. I'm hoping for Azumat. Azumat is possibly my most looked for card in this set. It may or may not come, but we need a Kraken in this set, and Colossal is the perfect mechanic to give us a giant Kraken with tentacle monsters. If you're enjoying the content I make here and would like to support the channel, don't forget to hit that like button and bonk that subscribe button right you see right there. It really would help me and support the channel and keep me going making new content, and I really appreciate it. Now, moving on to the next keywords that we are getting in the set, we are getting Dredge. Now, if you're a Magic the Gathering player, you know Dredge as the mechanic of flipping cards from the top of your library into the graveyard. Well, Dredge in this game of Hearthstone is going to be kind of the opposite. Dredge is a keyword that lets you look at the bottom 3 cards of your library and pick one to bubble up to the top. Very theme wise, they even use the word bubble in the description of the card. It's a cool mechanic in a way to allow you to manipulate your deck, allow you to know information. Card games are all about information, knowing what's in your deck, what's at the bottom of the deck, top of the deck, what's left in your deck. Same with your opponent. And not only that, Dredge is a really cool way to stop bad hands, kind of. It's going to allow you to reach further into your deck and allow you to draw cards to make games more playable. It probably will allow for a lot more real games to happen and a lot less games that where you just draw off curve and there's never really a game. One person runs over the other person. I think it's a good way, a good mechanic to stop that in a sense. Now, obviously, there will still be times of you dredging, looking at the bottom 3, not seeing any cards you really want. There are cards that to continue curve, but you have to put one there. That's the downside of it. My only concerns for Dredge is that I feel like the mechanic itself is going to need to be used on more impactful ways for it to be relevant. I think a lot of times Dredge will be helpful, sure, but if the card itself is not good or have an effect that happens based on what happens with Dredge, then I don't think the card will see play, therefore making Dredge a far useless kind of mechanic. And this card here we see, to display the Dredge mechanic, it has an ability to go along with Dredge where whatever card, if it's a minion, dredges to the top, bubbles up to the top, it gets the stats of this minion added onto it. That's a good way to do it. You have to have effects like that. You can't just have Dredge and leave it alone. I don't think those cards will see much play out, but they need to do something well. Speaking of things to do with Dredge, the next mechanic are sunken minions, sunken items. I know I have sunken minions on here, but sunken items were something they revealed today. There's more than just minions that do sunken things. Now you may ask, what is a sunken item? They are uncollectible cards with powerful effects that you put at the bottom of your deck after you cast another spell. For example, here we have this Azure Trident, which becomes the Sunken Trident. Now, this is a powerful weapon. It is basically like 2 weapons in one. You are going to be able to play this card on 3. You're going to be able to kill some minions, go face for 3 if you want to, and Death Rattle is going to sink a Sunken Trident down into your deck. Now, the Sunken Trident is going to have an effect that whenever you attack, it deals 2 damage to all enemy minions. A really powerful effect for a 3 mana weapon. These kind of cards are going to have to go hand in hand with the Dredge cards to make things powerful. I think that this is a good way to do it. Have powerful effects, set them at the bottom of your deck specifically. Have the Dredge cards, pull them up to the top. It's an efficient way to go through your deck and find useful cards. It's also one of those mechanics they're going to have to be careful with. If they make something really cheap that puts something really powerful at the bottom, and you have a really efficient way to get things from the bottom to the top of your deck, then you have to be super careful. But I do love this mechanic. I think it is very unique, very theme-wise, perfect for going down into the ocean. And I can't wait to see more of this effect, to see if, what all we have. We've seen spells, artifacts, minions, everything have the sunken effect, so a little bit for everyone. Can't wait to see the Druid one, The final major mechanic coming to Hearthstone is in the way of one of my favorite tribes in WoW, which is the Naga. You can't have Ashara and the Sunken City and underwater stuff without the Naga, because they play such a vital role in the lore of the Sunken City and stuff, and Ashara itself. And I think they've designed the Naga in a very unique way that is perfect for what they are. The Naga basically are a tribe that have a spell-focused minion type that often give you bonuses for playing one or more spells while the Naga are in your hand. For example, you have the Twin Bow Terra Coil, and you have the Colossal Commander. One for Demon Hunter, one for Hunter. There are going to be Naga for every class, I assume, in some fashion. And they all have this same effect, where if you've cast 3 spells while this is in your hand, it does something. Whether it's casting in the next spell twice, or creating 2 copies of itself. It incorporates what the Naga are in WoW perfectly, where they're these minions that use a lot of magic and incorporate it into their everyday lives and stuff like that. And I think that's a good way to do it. I have a little bit of concerns for the mechanic, though. I think the mechanic is slightly slow, so hopefully that aims towards a more slower format. Some people like that, some people won't. But I have a worry that only classes that can draw a lot will benefit from these at all. Playing 3 spells while this is in your hand is a super specific mechanic that means that you have to draw these, and that means either your deck is not playing a lot of these, or your deck is drawing a lot of times, or you're able to get pull Naga out of your deck specifically, or draw minions of such unique cards like that support this. I think this mechanic has a very, very high ceiling in what it's going to be able to do, but I'm very worried about classes that don't have very good card draw are just never going to be able to play these cards. But I'm very excited for these cards for the future. Should be very exciting to see our sea brethren join the Kraken in the world of Hearthstone. Can't wait to see more. We have one final mechanic coming up. It's not a major one, but it is a little minor mechanic that they sprinkled in for some humor, in my opinion. Finally, our last but not least small mechanic or sub mechanic that we're getting in the Voyage to the Sunken City is the Piranha mechanic. Basically, 1/1 tokens with rush that generate by other cards and get stronger with each summon. Every fish has like a different color, so it's like a bunch of rainbow fish. And so far, we've seen a couple of cards. We've seen a Shaman card and some other cards that create these piranhas. So basically, you play one, it's a 1/1 rush. You play another one, and it's 2/1s a rush, and so on and so on. It's a minor mechanic. It's a cool one to add for a sea themed set, like a schooling of fish that can attack people and stuff like that. How good are these? I think you have to value these a little bit higher than the classic 1/1 with rush minis that you used to use, like in Rush Warrior and stuff like that. I think that these can, on the face, one by itself, same card, no difference. But you add more, which a lot of these cards generate more than one of these. They scale in size pretty well. I mean, they become 2/1s, and you are able to quickly kind of double up, triple up their value per piranha, quadruple up their value, and just start trading with things more simply. So maybe use removal. It could be using token decks. It seems fine to me, and I think that this is a cool little mechanic they've added to the game. Can't wait for the Sunken City to come. That brings us to the end of our video about all the mechanics of the new set. My favorite being Colossal, but honestly, I love them all. I'm really, really, really excited for the new set, and stay tuned for more videos reviewing cards and talking about decks and the gameplay of the Sunken City coming up. See you later, guys.